Cowboys' 3 biggest keys to a successful offseason on your home of the Cowboys 105 through the fan. Bleacher Report put this together. I was like, this is kind of interesting because now that we are headlong into the offseason, all the talk is going to be about how teams improve, what salary cap casualties could be in the works. As we mentioned a little bit earlier, the franchise tag window begins tomorrow through March the 8th. So you will start to hear from teams around the NFL who will be having the franchise tag placed on them. The Dallas Cowboys have one available, and it could be used on one of several players, whether that be Dalton Schultz, Randy Gregory. There are several individuals who could find themselves getting franchise tagged by this team. This is why the NFL is a 24/7, 365-day-a-year business, because there's always something going on in the world of the National Football League. And for the Cowboys, having a successful offseason is going to be extremely important given the amount of pressure that's going to be on this team going into the 2022 NFL season. Hello, Mike McCarthy, and your job status mostly at the top of that list because this team could look very different. But let's start with the first item that Bleacher Report points out as far as the 3 biggest keys for the Cowboys to having a successful offseason. Key number 1 is something that we've talked about a little bit on this show already. No, cap space. Find enough cap space to limit the turnover on this football team.
Well, that's very easy. It's just a matter of how do you want to do these triggers on the contracts. There's contracts with some of your stalwarts, some of the guys who you call building blocks, core members of your team, the guys you see being around for a couple of years, or you know that they did a great job last year and deserve to be around. You want the cap space, is easily done. All you have to do is pull the triggers in those contracts. Then people go, well, wait a minute. You have created cap hell. I could see it if these players were like Tyron Smith and you don't know if his body's going to be able to hold up for the next 3 years. But no, we're talking about Dak Prescott. We're talking about Amari Cooper. We're talking about Tank Lawrence. All those guys are stalwarts or core players, and they have triggers in their contracts that you could utilize and keep the guys you really want. Anything else is, it's not like they can't do anything with these players. They can do it it's like Patrick Mahomes. Right now, Kansas City, he's got a $500 million contract. $500 million. Guess what? He's got clauses in his contract where he can get paid. He's also got clauses in his contract where he can keep players on Kansas City's roster. It's not hard. You just got to know that.
Cowboys have over 20 unrestricted free agents this offseason, several high-profile players who could find themselves possible cap casualties, but at the same time, several levers could be pulled to help retain those players, whether it be through contract restructures, being able to defer money, all different kinds of ways that this team could get under that $21 million that they are currently over the salary cap. The biggest one being pulling the lever to free up $15 million immediately by restructuring one Rain Dakota Prescott's contract.
Guess what? It's built into the contract. You don't even have to ask his permission. It's not even a negotiation. It's like, Dak, we're rearranging your money. Cool, we good. It's just that simple. Dak has no choice. They can do it if they want to. That's why when people gnash their teeth and wring their hands, it's like, y'all need to investigate more about how this can be done if you really are serious about team building.
And from the 254 on the truckwreck.com text line, the Cowboys need to franchise tag Brian Anger. Brian Anger is one of those 21 unrestricted free agents that the Cowboys will look to re-sign this offseason. I don't know if they'll necessarily use it on a punter, but that would be kind of funny if they did, because he was arguably the best special teams player. Well, he was the best special teams player for the Cowboys this season.
No
guy who was second team All-Pro and was a Pro Bowler this year was Brian Anger.
Yeah, when you named the Cowboys 5 All-Pros, or was it Pro Bowlers, the original, whatever. It was Micah Parsons. It was Trayvon Diggs. It was Brian Anger. It was Zach Martin.
And Tyron Smith. Yeah, the Pro Bowlers, yeah.
Brian Anger was the one that everybody said, yeah, no question.
Oh, yeah, he was the surefire, no doubter, as far as the Cowboys were concerned, because he was an absolute weapon from them. But that will be...
Somebody said use a franchise tag.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I was saying
254. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, use a franchise tag on him. But hey, this is, I think, as we go along this offseason, there will be real debate and real, at times, heated discussion about the Cowboys and what they are actually intending to do based on what they've said versus some of the potential actions that they may take. Because while this team has said to us in words that this is a win now situation, if they make certain moves that on the outside looking in say that isn't a win now type of move, that will have a lot of us questioning what direction is this team ultimately trying to go in. I think that's why there's a lot of fun in these conversations about whether or not this team will move off of Amari Cooper or DeMarcus Lawrence, because I think that'll give us a window into what this team is actually thinking based off their actions and just not their words. Because the words, at least from a guy in Steven Jones, have said, hey, now look, we paid that quarterback $40 million. We can't keep everybody. The slice of the pie is this, the slice of the pie is that. Well, we're going to find out here in real short order if those words match up with some actions or if they're talking out of both sides of their mouth when it comes to the decisions that they make this offseason for this football team.
Always watch what they do and not worry about what they say, because it never matches up. I will say this. If you want to say, okay, to prove that they're in win now mode, Jerry Jones extending Dan Quinn and saying, yeah, Dan Quinn could easily be the head coach of this team. You don't do that if you weren't trying to win now. You wouldn't make your head coach uncomfortable if you thought everything was fine.
Another key way to have a successful offseason if you're the Dallas Cowboys, explore ways to improve the run defense, which is a team that last year was giving up nearly 4.5 yards per carry. That's simply inexcusable in today's NFL. If you're going to be better against the run, you can't be giving up nearly 5 yards a carry.
I mean, crazy. It's just crazy. Especially, look what the 49ers did to him. Just gouged them. And you knew they were going to gouge them, and nothing they could do about it.
Yeah, the Denver Broncos did the same thing in your own building. The physicality that they played with, punking your defensive line up and down
Arizona did
the football
same thing.
field. That defensive line has to get more physical going into this offseason for sure.
Okay, so here's part of it. It's the way they game plan and scheme. And I love Dan Quinn. You know, to me, he's the unsung hero for this entire team. There's no way in hell without Dan Quinn they go 12-4, no matter what the offense looked like, okay? Offense could not drag a raggedy defense. That being said, the technique they use for most in this defense is to try to strip the ball and create takeaways. Well, if you're trying to strip the ball, somebody's dragging you down the field. If you're going to stand them up and not, lay some wood, slobber knock them, that's a completely different style of defense. So they've got to figure out, okay, are we going to just try to do takeaways, or are we going to try to wrap some mofos up? That's all I'm saying. You got a choice to make. Which kind of style are you going to be?
Last year, the Cowboys were 16th in rushing yards allowed and 23rd in yards per carry surrendered. As you mentioned, the San Francisco 49er game when they gave up 169 yards on the ground that day alone.
It was driving me crazy to watch these guys. Just like they were so busy running down the field with them, trying to punch the ball. I'm like, wrap up. Oh, no, we're going to create a takeaway. And they did a lot. Don't get me wrong, but guess what you give up? There's a give and take. You're going to give up all these yards. It's kind of like the takeaways. When everybody points at Trayvon Diggs and say, look at all those yards he gave up. Yeah, he got 11 picks, but look up the yards. It's the same thing with the running game. Those runs happen where you're trying to just take the ball away instead of wrapping up. It's give and take.
The last one, instill confidence in the coaching staff. I would say there's not a lack of confidence on the defensive side when it comes to Dan Quinn, but there's a lot of confidence that has been shaken with Kellen Moore and the offensive side of the football. That needs to be.
How are you going to instill confidence? Tell me what he's talking about and what you think, because I'm like, the hell, you fired if you need confidence in this day and age right now.
Well, this is about.
Now I've said now because I don't know. You tell me what you're saying, and I'm gonna tell you what I've said for 3 days now.
This is about the dysfunction, quote unquote, that we've seen so far this offseason with the comments from Jerry Jones, and then Mike McCarthy having to clap back on the Rich Eisen show. Oh,
so you're saying put a binky in Mike McCarthy's mouth? Is that what you're talking about? Because when you said Kellen Moore, I was like, wait a minute. Kellen Moore is 3 years in. He's got to be educated. That's what I've been talking about for 3 days. He and Dak have got to figure out better schemes and audible out or stay in and throw into coverage. But when you talking about Mike McCarthy, and if that article's saying he's got to get a binky, he's got to have confidence, he's the wrong damn guy. He's the wrong damn guy. If he doesn't know what time it is with this franchise where you need to get out of the first round or you're fired, that's on the resume. You take the job, that's what's expected out of you. It's not about, we're going to give you time to learn how to get. No, it's win now mode. The window is closing. Dak Prescott will turn 29 in July. Mike McCarthy, you don't need a damn binky. You need to foot up your butt if you kind of, I need more time. That's the last thing. Who wrote that article?
That comes from Bleacher Report.
Bleacher, get them out of here. Instill confidence in the coaching staff. Give me a effing break.
That is the 3 ways the Cowboys can have a successful offseason.
Find a new coach if that's what he needs, a binky in his mouth.